For over 4,500 years, the pyramids have stood against time. But did you know that deep inside, hidden chambers might still contain secrets we are yet to uncover? Could the Great Pyramid be hiding an unknown tomb? Today, we're exploring some of the oldest and most significant pyramids in the world. From the pioneering Step Pyramid of Djoser to the towering giants of Giza, we're about to uncover the engineering marvels, hidden chambers, and untold stories buried beneath the sand. I'll also share some practical advice on how to make this adventure stress-free and pleasant. Our adventure begins with a drive from the bustling streets of Cairo to the vast desert necropolis of Sahara. Unlike the famous pyramids of Giza, Sahara is an expansive burial site that served as the final resting place of Egyptian royals and nobles for thousands of years. This sacred landscape is home of tombs, pyramids, and underground chambers that hold secrets of the past, many of which are still being uncovered today. As we move closer, the desert stretches endlessly, but then, rising from the golden sand, the first monumental pyramid in human history appears, the Step Pyramid of Djoser. Believe me, your exploration of these amazing places will be even greater with a private tour guide. You can trust your travel guidebook, but the local guides have interesting stories to tell, which is a significantly better way to get to know the world of pharaohs. Built over 4,600 years ago for Pharaoh Djoser, this pyramid was a groundbreaking architectural achievement that marked the beginning of a large-scale stone construction in human history. Before this, Egyptian rulers were buried in mastabas, flat-roofed rectangular structures. But Imhotep, Djoser's chief architect and one of the most brilliant minds of the ancient Egypt, had a revolutionary idea: stacking mastabas on top of each other, creating the first pyramid-shaped structure in the world. This design not only transformed the concept of royal tomb, but also set the foundation for the future pyramid construction. I'm in front of the Djoser Step Pyramid, and this is our first stop for a very exciting day exploring the pyramids of Sahara and Giza, so bear with me and let me show you around. The Step Pyramid reaches an impressive height of 60 meters and is composed of 6 distinct steps, a unique feature that symbolizes a grand staircase leading the king to the heavens. Unlike later pyramids, which were built with a strict geometrical shape, the Step Pyramid was constructed in multiple stages, undergoing several modifications during its development. This experimental nature makes it a crucial study for researchers trying to understand the evolution of pyramid construction techniques. The surrounding complex is equally fascinating, covering an expansive 37-acre area and enclosed by a massive milestone wall with 14 false doors, an architectural feature meant to confuse grave robbers while allowing only the spirit of the king to pass through. Within the complex, archaeologists have discovered courtyards, shrines, and temples that provided spaces for rituals and offerings to the gods. Deep within the pyramid lies an intricate network of tunnels and chambers, some extending nearly 40 meters underground. These tunnels were designed to protect the king's burial chamber and contain thousands of stone vessels dating back to the early dynasties, suggesting that Djoser might have repurposed artifacts from his ancestors to link himself with Egypt's past rulers. Most intriguing are the blue faience tiles adorning the subterranean galleries, crafted to resemble woven reed mats, a design meant to mimic the luxurious palace walls of the living world, ensuring Djoser's continued comfort in the afterlife. Beyond its historical and architectural significance, the Step Pyramid is also a testament to the Imhotep's genius. Not only did he pioneer large-scale stone construction, but his contributions to the medicine and administration earned him a status unlike any other. He was later deified and worshipped as god of wisdom and healing. Given the limited time we had, just half a day to explore this incredible location, it was impossible to see and experience everything. Trusting our tour guide to show us the major attraction and his personal favorite spots was essential to making the most out of our visit.
It's the biggest standing stone in history.
Oh,
1,140 tons.
wow.
One single stone made out of granite. You're gonna cut it from the quarry, move it to the temple, and stand.
Wow.
Should be stand at a very small distance. You know what the obelisk looks like?
Yeah,
Have been to France?
I've been, yeah.
England?
Yeah, I've been to also in Istanbul, they have one.
In Italy, there is over like 12 or 13 different obelisks
Yeah.
there.
Next, we visited the funerary complex of King Unas, the last ruler of the 5th dynasty. His pyramid might appear modest compared to others, but what lies within is revolutionary. It is here that the first ever pyramid texts were discovered, carved into the walls of the burial chamber. The pyramid itself, now heavily eroded, was once covered in glimmering white limestone, reflecting the sun's rays and making it a dazzling sight for those approaching it in ancient times. Although smaller than the later pyramids, the Unas complex included a mortuary temple, an ascending passage, and a valley temple, emphasizing the importance of rituals and offerings in ensuring the king's afterlife journey. The Pyramid of Unas introduced a groundbreaking innovation, the first recorded appearance of the pyramid text, making it one of the oldest surviving religious texts in Egypt. These 283 magical spells, also called utterances, were inscribed in blue on the walls of the corridor, antechamber, and the burial chamber. Their purpose was to guide the pharaoh through the perils of the underworld and unite him with the sun god Ra in the afterlife. By carving these texts directly into the walls, the architects ensured that their power would endure even if the funerary code ceases. The text contained ritual instructions and spoken instructions mirroring the ceremonies performed in the mortuary temple. This practice set a precedent later adopted in the pyramids of the rulers from the 6th to 8th dynasties, influencing Egyptian burial tradition for centuries, emphasizing the direct divinity of the pharaoh and his personal journey to the afterlife rather than solely relying on temple priests to secure his passage. This text laid the foundation for later funerary books, including the famous Book of the Dead. Without our tour guide, we would be in the dark literally in this amazing place. Tucked away in the Sahara lies a hidden gem, the tomb of Princess Idut. Built during the 6th dynasty, this beautifully preserved tomb offers vivid glimpses into daily life in ancient Egypt. The walls were adorned with colorful carvings depicting hunting, fishing, farming, and even tax collection. What makes this tomb particularly interesting to researchers is its unique blend of royal and everyday scenes, offering unparalleled insight into both the ruling elite and the common activities of the time. The detailed instructions and artwork provide scholars with valuable evidence of the social hierarchy, economic activities, and burial customs of the period. The presence of such a well-preserved tomb within Sahara also helped historians understand the complex relationships between pharaohs and the nobility.
Guys, besides the tombs of the kings, of course, there's other tombs of royals and their servants and officials, so it's really big complex. And now we're gonna go see a tomb of a female ruler, like a local ruler, and she was buried here close to the Great Pyramid of Djoser that you can see just behind me over here. It's absolutely stunning.
Sahara was not just the burial grounds for kings, it was also the final resting place for high-ranking officials, priests, and princesses like Udit. Nobles were often buried close to the pharaohs they served, ensuring their continued status in the afterlife. This strategic placement was also practical. It allowed priests and the families to maintain the necessary offerings and rituals required for their eternal journey. The proximity of those tombs to the royal pyramids highlights the intricate political and religious structures of ancient Egypt, reinforcing the belief that even in death, nobility remained under the watchful eye of the pharaoh. So guys, I'm at the Imhotep Museum, which belongs to the Sahara pyramid complex, and it's a small one, but we're gonna go inside and explore. Unfortunately, video is not allowed inside, so just enjoy the beautiful facade of this museum. Before leaving Sahara, we visited the Imhotep Museum, named after the legendary architect of the Step Pyramid. This museum served as both an educational center and a preservation site, hosting some of the most significant discoveries from the Sahara necropolis. Among its exhibitions, visitors can find tools used by ancient craftsmen, well-preserved mummies, statues of deities and noble figures, and pottery that offers insight into daily life thousands of years ago. The museum also houses remarkable architectural fragments and inscriptions that provide a deeper understanding of pyramid construction and funerary traditions. Imhotep himself was deified in later centuries and worshipped as god of wisdom and medicine, a status rarely granted to non-royal individuals in ancient Egypt. He was the architect behind the Step Pyramid, the first stone structure of its kind, revolutionizing Egyptian tomb construction and influencing pyramid building for centuries. His contributions extended beyond architecture. He was also a high priest, physician, and a scholar credited with early advancement in medical knowledge, including surgical procedures and healing techniques. Later generations revered him so deeply that they merged his identity with that of Thoth, the god of architecture, mathematics, and medicine, and patron of scribes. His impact was so profound that temples were built in his honor, and his legacy continued to inspire scientific and architectural advancement in the ancient world. Please note that the museum has a strict no video policy, and they tend to enforce it in any possible way. Our next stop is what I've wanted to experience since I was a kid, fascinated by the ancient Egyptian culture and devouring books about Egyptian exploration and archaeology, until I found out that I was allergic to dust, which made my childhood dream of being an archaeologist almost an impossible task. Finally, we arrived at the legendary pyramids of Giza. Take a look at those colossal structures. They have withstood thousands of years, wars, earthquakes, and time itself. But there's the real question: how did the ancient Egyptians build them, and could they be hiding secrets we have yet to discover? Rising from the desert, these colossal structures continue to inspire awe. The Great Pyramid of Khufu, the Pyramid of Khafre, and the Pyramid of Menkaure dominate the landscape, standing as eternal testament to the brilliance and ambition of the ancient Egypt. Each of these pyramids holds its own secrets, architectural marvels, and insight into the civilization that built them. But the pyramids of Giza were not isolated structures. They were part of a vast necropolis filled with smaller pyramids, mastabas, and temples. Surrounding the main pyramids were the tombs of the queens, royal officials, and nobles who sought burial near the pharaohs, believing that proximity will secure their safe passage into the afterlife. These mastabas, with their tourniqueted pyramid shapes, were connected into underground chambers where the deceased were laid to rest. Each pyramid was part of a large funerary complex that included a valley temple, mortuary temple, and causeway connecting them. The valley temple, situated closer to the Nile, were where the pharaoh's body was mummified before being transported into the grand procession along the causeway to its final resting place within the pyramid. Some of these causeways extended all the way to the channels of the Nile, which facilitated the transport of materials such as granite from Aswan, hundreds of kilometers away. The Great Pyramid of Khufu, the largest of the three, is one of the greatest engineering feats in the history. Built around 2580 BC, this massive structure originally stood at 147 meters and was covered in smooth white limestone casting stones that reflected the sun, making it shine brilliantly like a celestial monument. But beyond its grandeur, it holds a mystery, a massive void detected using a cutting-edge muon radiography. Could this be a hidden chamber? If so, what's inside? This mysterious empty space, measuring over 30 meters in length, raises questions about whether it holds additional chambers or uncovered secrets about the pyramid's construction. Recent studies have suggested it could house a yet undiscovered tomb, and researchers are eager to investigate further. Originally, the pyramids looked very different from what we see today. They were covered in gleaming white limestone casting stones polished to perfection, which would have made them shine brilliantly under the sun, visible from miles away. Over time, these casting stones were removed and repurposed for other construction projects, leaving the rugged core exposed. This pyramid also contains precisely crafted granite blocks, some weighing over 80 tons, transported from Aswan over 800 kilometers away. The sheer logistical challenge of moving these stones adds to the intrigue of how it was built. And if you think this is fascinating, wait until we dive into the workers' village, which debunks the myth that slaves built the pyramid.
Hey people, this is the second pyramid at Giza, Khufu's pyramid, and you can see the disk of the sun.
The pyramid of Khafre, slightly smaller than Khufu's but appearing taller due to its elevated position, is famous for retaining some of its original casting stones at the top. Built for Pharaoh's Khafre, it also boasts a complex of temples and causeways leading to the Sphinx. One of the most intriguing discoveries near this pyramid is the Valley Temple, where archaeologists found remarkable statues of Khafre, some of the strikingly lifelike craftsmanship. These statues offer a glimpse into the artistic advancement of the time, showcasing the skill of ancient Egyptian sculptors in creating lifelike depictions of their rulers. The smallest of the three, the Pyramid of Menkaure, may lack the scale of its predecessors, but makes up for its unique construction materials. Unlike the other two pyramids, the lower section of Menkaure's pyramid were covered in massive blocks of red granite rather than limestone, making it unique. Excavation of the pyramid revealed evidence of unfinished mortuary temples, suggesting that Menkaure's death may have come unexpectedly, forcing modification in his burial plans. Interestingly, the 19th century archaeologists discovered a wooden sarcophagus bearing his name, though his actual mummy was never found, adding another layer of mystery to his final resting place. Over 2.3 million stone blocks, some weighing as much as an elephant, were stacked with incredible precision, without modern machinery. How did they do it? One widely accepted theory suggesting that Egyptian workers used sleds to transport limestone across the desert. But there is a trick. They poured water on the sand to reduce friction, making it easier to drag the blocks. This technique, confirmed by ancient tomb paintings, would have made moving such heavy materials more efficient. But how about the massive granite blocks in the King's Chamber, sourced from Aswan, 800 kilometers away? They were floated down the Nile River on wooden barges before being hauled into the Giza plateau. This method highlights the Egyptians' advanced logistics and resource management. Who built the pyramids? Forget the Hollywood myth of slaves. Archaeologists have uncovered workers' villages near the pyramids, containing well-structured homes, bakeries, and even medical facilities, suggesting that the workforce was well-fed and cared for. These laborers were likely seasonal workers recruited during the Nile's annual flooding, when agricultural work was not possible, allowing Egypt to utilize its workforce efficiently. The time required to build the pyramids has been another topic of debate. The Great Pyramid of Khufu is estimated to have taken approximately 20 years to complete. To achieve this within 2 decades, workers would have had to place an average of 12 blocks per hour, every hour of every day. Such an effort would have required meticulous planning, efficient resource management, and extensive knowledge of engineering. Which pyramid do you find the most mysterious? Khufu, Khafre, or Menkaure? Let me know in the comments. Nearby, the enigmatic Sphinx watches over the pyramids. Carved from a single limestone block, this colossal statue is believed to represent Pharaoh Khafre, though its exact purpose remains debated. Some scholars argue it served as a guardian of the pyramid complex, while others believe it symbolized royal power and divine protection. One of the most intriguing aspects of the Sphinx is its missing nose, which many theories suggest was deliberately removed rather than eroded by time. There are also traces of red pigment on its face, indicating that it was once painted in bright colors. Another enduring mystery is the existence of tunnels and cavities beneath the Sphinx, leading some researchers to speculate that hidden chambers or passages might still await discovery. Now that we've learned so much about the pyramids, let me give you some practical tips for your visit. The most important part of planning your Great Pyramid trip is to hire a local tour guide. Believe me, this will save you not just time but also money. Let me explain. At the pyramids, the crowds are overwhelming. It's an open space and it will be easy to get lost if you're in a large group or get the attention of the many merchants trying to make a living there. The tour guide will make sure to bring you fast through the crowds and point out the most interesting parts of the complex. Arrive early or late in the day. The site gets extremely hot and crowded by midday. Visit early in the morning or close to the closing time for cooler temperatures and fewer crowds. Bring small bills. Vendors and camel handlers often claim they don't have change. Having small bills helps you avoid overpaying. Do not accept help from strangers. People might look very helpful, but you will most surely end up paying for a service you don't want or you don't need. They will try to bring you to the best Instagrammable spot, help you avoid the crowds, bring you to the secret spot no other tourist is allowed. Do not accept that unless you have some money to waste. Do not trespass any areas that are visibly marked as out of reach for tourists. The fact that the locals are doing it doesn't mean that you can do it too. Be safe and protect this eternal monument. Do not climb the pyramids or destroy any of the structures. I do not recommend riding the camels at the pyramids. I've seen how the animals are treated and watched too many videos of tourists being scammed and hurt during the experience. If you really want to do it, set a fixed price, negotiate where you will be dropped off, and do not pay in advance. If you end up going to the pyramids from Cairo without a tour guide, use Uber rather than a regular taxi. Chances of being overcharged are very slim. You have to be well prepared for the sun and the heat. Dress conservatively, put on a scarf to protect you from the sun and the dusty wind gusts, and apply sunscreen protection regularly. Always be aware of your belongings. Do not expose your wallet or phone if not needed. Stay hydrated. Bring bottled water as vendors inside the site charge higher prices. Negotiate prices beforehand. Whether it's a camel ride, souvenirs, or a carriage ride, always agree on price up front to avoid being overcharged. Explore beyond the Great Pyramids. Visit the panoramic viewpoint for stunning photos. As we unlock hidden chambers and decode ancient texts, one thing is certain: the pyramids still have stories to tell. What messages did the pharaohs leave for further generations? And how can we make sense of their vision today? Join me as I explore these mysteries further. Next, I will take you inside the Egyptian Museum and embark on an exciting trip to Alexandria. Subscribe now and don't miss my next adventure.